Hi, I'm Jimmy. In this video, we're looking at exchange-traded funds that could do well with high inflation. Now, just so we're all on the same page, an exchange-traded fund, or an ETF for short, is basically a basket of stocks. It's a portfolio manager at some Wall Street company puts together rules that pick stocks or pick investment according to those rules. Many of them are targeted at different things. Some of them, maybe it's a sector, maybe it's dividends, or it could be a lot of different things. We're trying to identify the ones that could do the best with high inflation. So we found 6 different ETFs that could do fairly well. And we got one industry-related ETF that could also be a fairly good one with high inflation. So our goal is, if inflation is going to stick around for any period of time, what ETFs could be best to own? Okay, now before we jump into that, I just want to tell you real quick about a website that we're building where we're going to kick off the website with a bunch of different ways to value the stock. We've already built the discounted cash flow calculator, and the goal from here is to keep building different valuation methods. And basically, you punch in a ticker, and when you punch in that ticker, the website will kick different valuation methods back to us. So we might say, hey, I want to buy Tesla, and it'll give us the different valuation methods that would be best based on the characteristics of that company and what the valuation of the stock would be using each of those valuation methods. Ideally, we want to buy it for less than that. Now, the advantage of signing up now, yes, we have the beta version of the DCF calculator, but the rest of the stuff is to come, hopefully in the not too distant future. But the advantage of signing up now is that for anybody who signs up, let's say you came over, you signed up annually, well, the price will never go up on you. The price you pay will be locked in forever. So that's one of the advantages of signing up while we're building the whole platform. Now, down the line, after we build the platform and we have the valuation methods, well, we're going to do other ways to research a stock, how to analyze financial statements and, things along those lines. So we're trying to make it an all-immersive investing platform as time goes on. So if you'd like to sign up, I'll leave a link in the description below to sign up. But for now, let's jump over to different high inflation ETFs. Now, some of the best investments that tend to do fairly well with high inflation are commodity-based investments. And I'm talking all different types of commodities. Pretty much anything you might pull out of the ground. Things like oil and gas could do well. Things like copper, steel, even food, corn, wheat, things like that. All of that stuff could do fairly well. And if we think about it, it's fairly logical because that's one of the call it the raw materials that many companies, many producers, many people need down the line. So if prices go up, well, those prices can rise first, and everybody else is sort of forced to pay higher prices. If they can pass on the higher prices, well, they tend to do fairly well. Those types of companies tend to do fairly well. But for now, we're going to look at 2 historically defensive investments, and that is gold and silver. So gold and silver tends to be, if you look at history and the history of recessions and higher inflation environments, gold and silver tends to be a nice defensive play. So our first ETF is an ETF that focuses on gold, and that is the Granite Shares Gold Trust, ticker symbol BAR. The fee on this ETF is 17 basis points. That's 17% of 1%, if that makes sense. So that's the thing about ETFs. Most ETFs charge a fee. Now, this BAR ETF is very similar to GLD, but the only difference is that GLD charges a higher fee. This fee is slightly lower, which is why I went with this one. And ultimately, what this company does, what this ETF does, is they actually buy gold. And as you invest in the ETF, they actually buy the gold, they store it, they secure it, they do all of that. The advantage to us buying an ETF, a gold ETF versus, let's say, actual gold bars is they secure it all. They get it all audited. They deal with all of that. So our gold would be much more liquid buying it this way. Year to date, this ETF is down about 10%, which was a little bit surprising to me because, like I said, gold tends to do fairly well historically. Now, I'm okay with if we're considering this for the future because if we think that the recession will linger or get worse over the next couple of years, which is very, very possible, if we think that might be the case, gold and silver should do fairly well. Now, if we want to round off our investment and not just focus on gold like BAR does, well, the next one is actually an ETF that trades, I believe, out of London, and the ticker symbol there is ICOM. This is the iShares Diversified Commodity ETF. And basically, they buy futures contracts on all different types of commodities. This ETF has a fee of 19 basis points, and they're year to date, they're up about 14%. So overall, this ETF is doing fairly well. Now, one of the advantages of investing in an ETF like this versus something like BAR or any gold or silver ETF is that this type of ETF includes a lot of different commodities in there, and many commodities are more usable than gold and silver. Yes, gold and silver is used, but not nearly as much as something like wheat or soy or oil or something like that. There's so many other commodities that are more actively used. The advantage of BAR is that they are buying actual gold, where this ETF buys futures contracts. So there's something to be said about buying gold and holding it if that's something that we think will help our overall investment portfolio. Okay, now we're going to move over to more energy-based ETFs that, again, could do well in a high inflationary environment. The first one is XOP. XOP is the Spider Oil and Gas Exploration and Production ETF. They charge a fee of 35 basis points, and we could see that they're up almost 50% since the start of the year. Now, I'm sure many of us have seen that oil prices, gas prices have been through the roof, so it might not be too surprising that this ETF would do that well. Now, basically, what this ETF does is they own exploration and production companies. So exploration and production in the oil and gas industry are companies that basically pull oil and gas out of the ground. Big companies like ExxonMobil, Chevron, those types of companies, that's one of the main things that they do. They pull that stuff out of the ground. They call it upstream in the oil and gas industry. So overall, inflation, oil prices tend to get passed on very quickly to the consumer, so oil companies tend to do fairly well. Never mind all of the stuff that's happening with Russia and Ukraine and all of the issues that Russia's causing for the oil market. So that's likely to keep these numbers higher. So again, it looks like this one could do fairly well. Now, if we would jump on to the next ETF, well, the next ETF is the Vanguard Energy ETF. And this one's up a bit more. This one's up about 53%. They charge a small fee of just 10 basis points. But what they do that's different than the XOP ETF is they have all different parts of the energy industry. So XOP focuses on upstream, the stuff that gets pulled out of the ground. VDE they focus on the whole thing. So they have companies that pull it out of the ground, small cap, large cap, mid cap, they have all of them. They also have midstream companies, the companies that ship oil and gas, and downstream companies, companies that refine oil, turn it into gasoline, gas stations, things like that. So it's a far more wide encompassing type of ETF if that is something we're interested in. Plus, they have a lower fee. If we're looking for something in the energy market to protect us against higher inflation, well, a fee of 10 basis points versus 35 could be something good. Okay, now let's jump over to some agriculture ETFs. So our first agriculture ETF is the iShares Global Agriculture ETF, ticker symbol COW. This one actually trades in Canada, and they have a fee of about 71 basis points. Now, year to date, they're up about 23%, so they're doing quite well. And if we're curious what they do, well, this is a company that this is an ETF that invests in companies that have to do with the agricultural process. So everything from companies that are farming or any companies that are building the machines to do farming, things like that, everything tied to the agricultural industry. So overall, you would expect that this ETF would be fairly defensive and could be a good one. Okay, the next one is actually the food and beverage ETF, ticker symbol PBJ. They charge a fee of 63 basis points, and year to date, they're about flat. Now, as you would expect, this is a fairly defensive industry. They invest in companies that are tied to the delivery of food and beverage, not delivery, but the creation, the production, and the selling of food and beverages throughout the globe. So again, fairly defensive industry. And as inflation continues to be a problem, all of these could do fairly well. Now, right along those same lines, we're going to jump over to a different ETF that is more industry focused. Now, if we think back to what we were saying before about one of the reasons commodities do quite well is that they're one of the raw materials that come out of the ground. For example, food. If we are eating the food and the farmers are growing the food, if their costs go up, our costs almost have to go up. We wouldn't expect them, their prices would go up and we have to pay it because we need food. So along those same lines, the next step after commodities is something like the materials sector. So the materials sector has an ETF called the Materials Spider ETF, their ticker symbol's XLB. Year to date, that sector is down about 13%, but as time goes on, the longer inflation lingers with us, the materials sector could be one of the early sectors that could handle the rising prices happening right now in many parts of the globe. So some of the companies that are in this ETF are companies like Air Products and Chemicals, Sherwin-Williams, Ecolabs, Dow. Companies like that could do fairly well. These are some of the first companies that could pass on the costs to their customers. And then we as investors could capitalize on these companies having better profit over the next couple of years. So ultimately, what we have is 7 different ETFs that if we are looking for exposure to help offset the rising inflation to our overall investment portfolio, well, any one of these could do fairly well. Now, if we're looking to get even more defensive, something like BAR might be good, some gold, silver type ETF, PB&J or Cow could do fairly well. Those are I would say, the most hedgy ones for inflation. So I think overall, those could be the best ones. Now, if you'd like to sign up to get access to the website, I will leave a link in the description below. And thank you so much for sticking with me all the way to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.